Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Bitcoin update. We have a few things to look at today in regards to weekly candle close, which closed 2 days ago. It doesn't look particularly good on the weekly chart in terms of that close. We have monthly candle close coming in just a few days, and we have some short-term updates and developments, as well as Microstratgey and Saylor adding to their Bitcoin position, which is very, very large now. It makes up 2% of the Bitcoin supply, I believe, which is absolutely massive. But overall, just a recap video, an update on why I believe the market is looking neutral and why I believe my strategy is the best course of action for this market at the moment. So guys, without further ado, short one today, let's get into it. Okay guys, so Bitcoin daily chart, hourly chart, Bitcoin dominance. We'll be looking at weekly chart as well, various things in the weekly chart to look at. We had a weekly candle close we didn't discuss yesterday because we didn't have a video. We have total cryptocurrency market cap. We have Ethereum chart, uptrending support line, Ethereum being tested right now. We have a couple of different monthly charts, and then finally we'll look into Microstratgey buying some more Bitcoin. But that's about it for today in terms of what we're going to be looking at. Before we get into the video, let's check out the VIP group. Guys, VIP group is available on Telegram. You can join the free information and results group, which gives you the information for the VIP group, also the payment information, etc., what you'll be receiving, and also the trading results for previous VIP trades. Our VIP group runs on Telegram. It's a paid group where you can get access to altcoin trading signals. For example, we just had an altcoin trading signal on APT play out 2 or 3 days ago, and so far that has reached quite a nice profit from the breakout point. Assuming 10x leverage, it's 140% profit, and we're still actually still active on that trade. So there's an active trade on APT, but I wouldn't be entering it now. If you're looking for entry, it is well past the entry point. But for the VIP members who got in early to that, good job. That's an example of VIP trades we do on Telegram. So, all right, without further ado, let's get into the actual content. Not really a specific thing to look at today, just a broad market analysis giving you an update of the Bitcoin situation. We are obviously aware by now. Actually, I'll just explain it quickly because a lot of people might not be aware. I believe, guys, that October will be a big month for Bitcoin. I believe that for various reasons. And one of the reasons for that really is the fact that we have, let's delete the chart and just show you exactly what we've got going on here. We have support right around this horizontal line, and we have very strong resistance trending downwards right here. Okay, that is strong resistance, this is strong support. What does that lead us with? Well, it leaves us with a apex zone, so a triangle formation, okay, where we're going to be bouncing between support and resistance, and eventually we're going to reach a point in which we can't bounce any further. That's called the apex, and that apex comes at the 1st of November. Therefore, in October, because the 1st of November is the apex, the 1st of November is when we can't move anymore without having a breakout up or down. Therefore, in October sometime, probably around the middle of October or early October, we'll be seeing a break to the upside of a downside. So we do know for a fact that October will be big for Bitcoin, because we know for a fact that October will be a breakout for Bitcoin, either up or down. And we know, of course, that the major support zone by now, everyone should know this by now, we've been on this for months, the major support zone is 24.5k to 25.2k. That's the green box I have in the screen there. That's been the dividing line really between the phase we are in now and the bear market phase, because we can see during the bear market we've rejected from this a couple times. We finally got above it, and we've been holding above it ever since. We've got two distinctive ranges, right? A range up here, a range down here, and so that's the line in the sand for sure. But right now, we're kind of testing that line in the sand, bouncing on it right now. We've said multiple times in the past, and I'll say it again in this video, just repeating information here. We saw a deep dip into liquidity right here around the 11th and 12th of September. As you can see, that was our lowest dip for liquidity. We saw into that support zone, very similar to the dip in liquidity we saw in that support zone in June. Generally speaking, after you see such a dip into liquidity zones, you see a bounce and you see the trend reverse. And that's what we saw exactly over here in June 2023. And that's exactly what we saw as well. We're zooming back to May 2021, okay, we saw a dip into liquidity on daily candle, and we saw a reversal from that point forward. So I have said multiple times, I'll say it again, I don't believe that it's necessary that Bitcoin goes back down on a daily candle close to the similar level it was at. I believe that the daily candle close bottom should be in. I genuinely believe that. I think if you see a daily candle close below that point, below where we bottomed out in this daily candle close at 25.1k, we're in very big danger for Bitcoin. We shouldn't really need to see a lower low right now. You know, on the daily candle at least, perhaps a wick is you know, perhaps will happen. I suppose it's a possibility for it, right? Liquidity wicks are something that can't really be predicted too well. And even if we're looking back at May 2021, you know, we saw, yeah, lowest daily candle, but ultimately we had been there on liquidity wicks before. So, yeah, perhaps a wick, but the point is I don't think we should see any extended price action below where we just were. So, in the occurrence that we go back down again properly into that support zone, I think Bitcoin starts to look very bad. And hence then, right, knowing that, it is mandatory that Bitcoin forms a higher low. You know, somewhere between here and there, basically. And we could be doing that right now. There's a chance for it. But overall, I don't like the Bitcoin hourly structure right now, to be honest with you. Hourly structure right now looks pretty much like a head and shoulders formation, right? Shoulder here, head here, shoulder here, something like that. Downwards, broke the neckline. Who knows? We could be going downwards from there, you know. But the point is, I don't think the hourly chart looks particularly good, but I also don't think it's really clear enough for us to have any firm opinions on it. And that's why I'm not going to be focusing on it. I actually genuinely don't think this is a clear-cut chart in any regard. I simply don't. There's no real structure here that we're seeing in short term, in my opinion, but you know, look, hopefully Bitcoin's able to form a bottom before we go back down to that zone. And you know, if we do go down back to that zone, okay, back to this green box, that doesn't necessarily confirm that a breakdown will occur, and I still won't be activating short positions on that occurrence. I'll be activating short positions when we actually break down. It would just make a breakdown much more likely. You have to remember, and this is something I've said multiple times over and over again, that I believe that Bitcoin is in a neutral range right now. Okay, and people say to me all the time, oh, that's a cop-out answer. You can't say you're neutral on Bitcoin. I very well can. Okay, there's three main opinions you can have on Bitcoin. You can be bullish, you can be bearish, you can be neutral, and all of which are equally valid, right? There's a reason why the market is not moving right now. There's a reason why the market's been going sideways for 6 months, and let me tell you, that's not because people are bullish or bearish. That's because people are neutral. So if the charts are neutral, I'm going to be neutral. That's how I react to this current situation. And hence, I will not be reacting financially until we see a clear breakdown of this green box or a clear breakup above all this resistance. That's the simple reality. I'm not acting on Bitcoin right now. I don't think you should be either. But that's my opinion. You know, you can do whatever you want, really. But that's what the charts are actually suggesting, plain and simple. So right now, really not much to update on the medium term. Short term is kind of rough. Yeah, look, it looks like some sort of head and shoulders, but it's not actually clearly identifiable at all. I mean, this is more like a flat horizontal correction than a shoulder. It's very hard to say, unfortunately. That's just how it is. Bitcoin dominance looks pretty good. But Bitcoin dominance, of course, is not something we can use as a sole method of predicting where Bitcoin's going to go. We can, however, point out the history of Bitcoin dominance, and the history being whenever we form triangles and stuff like that on Bitcoin dominance, whenever we form market patterns on Bitcoin dominance and we break out of the market patterns, we generally see Bitcoin move on the same day. For example, we broke out on the 13th of January, we broke out on the 14th of March, we broke out on the 10th of June. If you go back to the Bitcoin chart and you actually circle out when those dates were, you know, roughly 13th of January was back here to breakout, March breakout, June breakout. Every time we break out of a Bitcoin dominance pattern, we're breaking out of Bitcoin patterns. And we've actually seen a breakout on Bitcoin dominance out of a descending channel formation. So that's actually been representative of Bitcoin breaking upwards. And we did see Bitcoin break upwards on the same day. And, you know, right now we're still in major support for Bitcoin dominance. So that is supporting the support for Bitcoin. But ultimately, it doesn't really tell us anything other than Bitcoin is on support. And we already know that. Okay, so this is where we're getting into with the charts right now. Everything is so unclear. You know, nothing is giving us a really clear view of Bitcoin. Even things like weekly. All right, weekly chart. Yeah, we're on major support on the RSI. Okay, there's very major support on the RSI. There's very major support coming from something like the Gaussian channel. Very major support coming from something like the 50-week SMA. But there's also very major resistance coming from things like bull market support band and 200-week SMA. And we've seen two very bad weekly candles with strong wicks to the upside and rejections from those two things. We've also seen bounces from support from that major 24.5k level. So again, it's not giving us any clarity. All it tells us is that Bitcoin is clamped between major support and resistance, which we already know. But we do know for a fact that weekly chart is very important for Bitcoin. It's the most important chart you can study as of right now, because we know for a fact that 24.5k, which is the major support we are on, is a weekly chart support. Like, look. 2 weekly candle closes form this support zone. So if it's a weekly chart support we're looking at from the downside, we should be looking at a weekly chart level to the upside, and that's why to the upside our major level is the bull market support band, which we need to be getting above as soon as we possibly can. But again, that doesn't really offer us any clarity. It just tells us what we should be looking at. And you know, the same thing can be said about monthly chart. Monthly chart, as you can see, is below resistance right now, but it's also on top of support on 50 EMA. So what are you meant to say about it? You can't say much about it. You can say, well, yeah, it's below resistance. Yeah, we reject from resistance. We saw a very bad drop below resistance, but we're literally right on top of support, which supports 24.5k. So again, what are you meant to say about it? You can't say much about it. And same thing from another monthly perspective. Okay, we have a trend on Bitcoin with this monthly RSI. If you look at the yellow line on the RSI, that's the 14 moving average. Whenever we see bearish crosses between the RSI price line and the 14 moving average, we see bad price action for months to come. Whenever we see bullish crosses, we see good price action for months to come. This is continued over and over again for Bitcoin. And, you know, we saw a bullish cross over here, upwards price action. And now we're coming in, we're just about to see a bearish cross, but you can see we're flatlining. We haven't moved down enough for Bitcoin, and we will only see a bearish cross on monthly RSI if we drop below 24.5k. So again, it's like, well, we're on the edge of support, we're on top of support, but nothing's actually happened yet, so it's very hard to have an opinion. The whole market right now is exactly like that. Total cryptocurrency market cap, very strong resistance above, very strong support below. Ethereum, we're literally right on top of very strong support. That could be indicative of a bounce. But again, you know, who knows? It could also be indicative of a drop to come because we've seen that bottom already. Perhaps 2 bottoms isn't necessary. So I hate to be this guy who just sits here and tells you basically nothing in the video, but I don't think I'm telling you nothing. I'm telling you something very important. I'm actually telling you guys that you shouldn't be reacting here. Save your money. Save your investment. Don't make your investment now. That's my opinion. You guys don't have to take my you know, whatever I say. This is what I'm personally doing. It's not financial advice in any means. You're responsible for your own financial decisions. But I'm saying if I was you, I would not be doing anything right now. I don't see the point. I see the market as pretty much a coin flip at this point in time. And I don't see why you'd be betting on a coin flip. You may as well go to the casino, go play some blackjack. You know, why would you bet on a coin flip? I think the fact of the matter is, there's no clear bullish or bearish bias in the market right now. And if there was, the price would be moving up or down. There's a reason why the price is moving sideways, because that's true. There's no clear bullish, bearish, or bias. Bullish or bearish bias. No clear bullish or bearish bias. It's very neutral right now. Overall, I think the Bitcoin is macro bullish because I don't think there is a macro bearish argument to be made. Yes, the medium-term range is neutral, but I think we're macro bullish because Bitcoin is in a 4-year cycle, and I believe there are bullish narratives that are at play, such as the ETF narrative, such as the halving narrative, which is getting closer and closer. So overall, I do think eventually Bitcoin will be going upwards, but it's very difficult to say whether it will be after or, you know, before, or whether we break down from the support at all. It's very, very difficult to say because at the end of the day, we don't have any guiding principles for this point of a cycle. If I had to take an absolute blind guess in the dark, stab in the dark, I'd say it's probably slightly more likely that Bitcoin goes upwards. And that's only based off the fact that we have macro bullish evidence and macro bullish narratives. It's not actually based off the charts itself. That's why it's very speculative. But it's not enough for me to make any opinion based on that. But yeah, I guess I am leaning slightly bullish here, just based on the narratives we have in the macro evidence. Not necessarily the charts we're seeing right now, but that's Bitcoin. You know, it is what it is, and I'm sorry that I can't be more help for you there. It's neutral. That's all it is, and we have to wait for any more intense price action to occur. So the following videos I'm going to be making over the next few days until we see some sort of development in the price action are going to be non-TA related, because that's the only thing I can really think to discuss right now. There's not really much to update with Bitcoin. And I will make more Bitcoin TA videos when there are things to update, but at this point in time, there's simply not. One more thing, Microstratgey has bought Bitcoin, which, you know, is always reassuring. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily good that one company like MicroStrategy holds such a large percentage of the Bitcoin supply. I think they hold like 3% of supply now, something like that, something ridiculously high. And you think, oh, that's not too bad, it's only 3%. Well, yeah, no, it's 3% of the Bitcoin supply, which is available globally, being held by one company. It's actually not that good. It's quite bad, really. And I don't necessarily like how, you know, MicroStrategy is going in terms of accumulating this much Bitcoin, but it's certainly not a bad thing from an investor perspective, because it shows that there still is interest in Bitcoin institutionally. We already kind of know that, you know, because of the ETF applications and things like that. We know there's institutional interest in Bitcoin and massive retail interest in Bitcoin, but MicroStrategy has bought again at 27k, so they would have bought, you know, basically up here at the peak of this local rally, perhaps thinking it was going to go upwards further, or perhaps not even caring, just buying wherever they can, which seems like their strategy is anyway, because their average price is very, very high. So yeah, that's interesting as well. But yeah, basically that's the video, guys. I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Going to check out a few things before we end the video. First and foremost, Bitget exchange and BingX exchange. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a little news flash for you. You trust exchanges with your money. They get hacked all the time. They lose funds all the time. So the exchange you're using, you're actually trusting with your money. You're also paying them fees for trades. You're paying up to thousands, tens of thousands of dollars per year in fees. So you want to have a bloody good exchange, right? And that's why I have 2 exchanges for you guys, 2 options depending on your location, depending on what you want from exchange. The first one is Bitget. That is a KYC exchange. You can sign up from anywhere anywhere in the world, excluding the United States, excluding Canada, and excluding Singapore. Very low fees, protection fund, the whole 9 yards. We've also got BingX, that's our second exchange, and that is an exchange you can sign up non-KYC from anywhere in the world, including every country, right? With a VPN from anywhere in the world. Again, very low fees, protection fund, everything you need in an exchange. Both of these exchanges are top 10 exchanges in trading volume. Sign up using my referral link below to get a 15% trading fee discount on both of the exchanges. Again, they'll both be in the description. Referral link is there. Get on a good exchange and become a proper trader. Don't use these trashy exchanges that you're risking your money and paying over in fees. Guys, let's get back into the video. And finally, the Crypto Academy courses. This is a Become a Trader 10-unit course. You can find this course website in the description below. You can read about the course, you can read about the unit topics, etc. And you can ultimately throw us an email below at this website, at this Gmail address, cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you with all the payment information and everything you need to make a decision on the course. So guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.